Let's get it going. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year's. We got a special occasion tonight, so we will get started. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Lawrence Township Council being held on Tuesday, December 19th, 2023, has been provided through the posting of the annual meeting schedule of said council in accordance with Section 13 of the Open Publics Meeting Act. Said notice was forwarded to the Trentonian, the Times, and the Ledger on December 11th, 2022. Madam Clerk, will we do inspiration, pledge of allegiance, and roll call? Please rise.
May we carry on our work at this meeting in a just, honorable, and sincere manner, always bearing in mind our duties and continuing to keep Lawrence a wonderful community in which to live. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Bobbitt.
Here.
Mr. Kaneki.
Here.
Mr. Duff.
Here.
Mr. Powers.
Here.
Mayor Ryan.
Here. All right, I think this is what we're all waiting for. We have special proclamation recognitions and presentations with the oath of office for new EMTs and firefighters. Pretty exciting. Right, Mr. Oakley, you do it. And please feel free to take as many pictures as you want.
How we're gonna do this is, you're gonna place your left hand on the Bible. Everybody else put your on the shoulder. Got that? Come on, cards, shoulder, hand. Trick, Mike. Good evening, Mayor, members of council, Manager Nowinski, Mr. Roskis, and Clerk Carter. And ladies and gentlemen, who are in the audience. This is a very special night for the Lawrence Township Emergency Services as we get a opportunity to swear in new career members of our fire and EMS staff. Through the hard work and diligence of the council and the manager, we have got this opportunity to increase our staff, which is much needed in order to continue to provide the service that we do here in Lawrence Township. What's really enlightening is to see, as I look across the audience, many members of not only other career staffs, but of our volunteer corps that are here to celebrate with these individuals. That's really, really, really a show in progress of where our department is going and what we need to achieve. So I'd like to give everybody here a round of applause. I think my wife put something in my food for me to lose my voice. She was happy when I left the house. She'll be more happy when I come home after I get done with this.
Okay. Want a cough drop?
Oh, I got one, sir. Thank you.
Had it.
Yeah.
Last couple of weeks.
What I'm going to do, this is in no particular order. I have a short bio on each one of the gentlemen that's up here, and I want to read those bios before we take the oath of office. Drazen Medic. Firefighter Medic was appointed to the career staff on August 23rd, 2021, and was assigned badge number 22. Originally from Pembroke Pines, Florida, Drazen moved to Lawrence Township in 2014 and graduated from Lawrence High School in 2018. Accomplished that in only 4 years, not bad, right? After relocating to Lawrence, Drazen quickly became enamored with the community, therefore making his decision to serve its residents quite simple. Drazen grew up playing ice hockey and played 3 years of junior hockey for the Utica Junior Comets before he was hired as a career firefighter for Lawrence Township. Consequently, working in a team comes naturally to Drazen. A graduate of the Middlesex County Fire Academy, Drazen is a devoted supporter of several sports franchises, including the Philadelphia Eagles, the Flyers, and the New Jersey Devils, the New York Giants, and the New York Mets. Needless to say, after last night, it's kind of tough, right? Wayne Hannon Jr. Firefighter Hannon was appointed to the career staff on January 3rd, 2022, and is assigned badge number 23. A native of Lawrence Township and a graduate of Lawrence High School, Wayne's interest in the fire service came from watching his father, Wayne Hannon Sr., serve as a life member and past fire chief of the Lawrence Road Fire Company. Wayne followed in his father's footsteps and joined Lawrence Road as a volunteer in 2006. He rose through the ranks and, like his dad, served the company as fire chief in 2020. Prior to being hired as a career firefighter, Wayne worked as a 911 dispatcher with Mercer County Central Communications and previously held a similar position with the Rutgers University and Lawrence Township Police Departments. Wayne is 31 years old and in his free time enjoys watching all New England sports teams and spending time with his Gordon setter, Rusty. This is a little different for me because I remember when he used to be brought around to the firehouse in diapers. It's a little different now, right? Ryan Delavic. As you can tell, the Delavics flew in everybody from across the country here tonight. Ryan is a lifelong township resident and is a third-generation firefighter in Lawrence Township. He follows after his grandfather, father, uncles, and brother's footsteps in the fire service. Ryan joined Lawrence Road Fire Company as a cadet member in 2000. Ryan then worked his way through the ranks over the years, holding officer positions of lieutenant, captain, and chief. Prior to being appointed to the career staff, Ryan held the position of deputy fire chief and assisted with the transition to the new Lawrence Township Fire Department. Ryan was one of the three people that we have as deputy fire chiefs from the volunteer side. Those three volunteer deputy chiefs have global responsibility throughout the new organization of the department. And I got to tell you, it works like a charm, and Ryan will be sorely missed as a chief administrative officer. He did a great job. He was always there when we needed him, most of the time at 3 o'clock in the morning, so the rest of us didn't have to get out of bed. But he's definitely going to be missed in those ranks as the deputy chief. Outside of the fire department, Ryan likes to spend time with his wife, Carmen, and children, Grace and Carter. Tim Sharpley Jr. Tim Sharpley was born in Hamilton Township. Growing up, he always knew he would end up joining the fire service. He joined the fire service in 2017 as a volunteer for Hamilton Fire District 3. He then moved to Lawrence Township in 2021 and started working as a per diem firefighter before being hired full-time in December of 2023. Outside the fire service, he enjoys watching baseball, hockey, football, and spending time with his family and girlfriend. See? Non-committal to being a sports team. I like about that kid, non-committal. Adam Shishko. Adam Shishko was born and raised in Lawrence Township. During his sophomore year of high school, Adam became involved in the fire service for the Lawrenceville Fire Company as a junior member. He quickly realized that being a firefighter was something that he wanted to pursue as a career. Due to this, he heavily involved himself in the fire service. Not only was he a volunteer for Lawrenceville Fire Company, he also worked part-time for the South Brunswick Fire District Number 3 and the Princeton Fire Department as well. Adam just completed his studies at Mercer County Community College and received an associate's degree in fire science administration. Eventually, he wants to pursue his bachelor's degree in business administration. In his free time, Adam enjoys skiing and playing tennis. He enjoys being outdoors whenever he gets the chance. Adam would like to thank his family, girlfriend, friends, fellow firefighters, leaders, and the community for their support throughout his journey in the fire service. Justin Riley. Justin Riley is our new addition to the emergency medical service. Justin Riley comes to Lawrence Township with over 8 years of experience as an EMT. Prior to being promoted to full-time EMT, Mr. Riley served as a per diem EMT of Lawrence Township for over 4 years. Mr. Riley has also served 5 years with the Trenton EMS. During his time with Trenton, he was promoted to the position of EMS captain, where he oversaw the daily operations of his platoon. Outside of work, Mr. Riley enjoys fishing, wildlife, photography, cooking, and spending time with his family and friends. Mr. Riley is honored to have this opportunity of serving the Lawrence Township community. You can see from those bios that each one of these gentlemen that's up here have a dedication to community and to service. And that resounds even as volunteers and now as they become full-time career people. You couldn't ask for a better group of individuals. They're going to be the people that when you ring the bell, they answer. When you're in trouble, they'll be there. If you have extra food, they'll all show up. Believe me, I've seen them all eat. With that, Mayor, I present the career staff. We're going to do get the one hand on the Bible, and you can read it all just once. Yeah.
The Bible's down there, Mayor.
Have it down there. Good. Just put your hand on and then put it on your shoulder and state your name individually, all right? I
I,
state your name.
Ryan Lovick,
I, Charlie Medich,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm that I will support the Constitution
I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will
impartially,
impartially
and justly perform all the duties of firefighter
and justly perform all the duties of firefighter
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here, if you want to pass it down so they can.
We're done now. Sign on the side of the line.
speech. That way you can move it quicker.
Yeah, what am I gonna do with the speech?
Tell me the fire tomorrow.
Oh, no.
You have,
They're correct.
Yeah, we got an extra one.
you good?
See you later. Have a good evening.
Wait a minute, guys. Hold on. We got a raffle going off. You guys want to hang in?
Are we paying Jack for the comedy services?
No, that's included.
All right. That's whoever negotiated that contract. That was a good inclusion.
Right.
Got my trophy.
I just feel that will take it a little cooler.
I know, I wish everyone would stay. I need the body heat.
Oh, we need the.
If you go over there, then right by
Tanya's got that heater.
the heat's right there. You feel it coming in.
Trust me, I thought about playing popcorn and moving down. So cool, I cannot.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
Happy holidays, happy New Year. Feel better?
Everybody's going.
I
Okay,
got
we
rid
all
of,
got.
I'm on my third week.
I got rid of it one time and I came back.
Same year. I'm on my
I went to the doctor. You go to the doctor, you know what he said? Just got the weight.
Yeah.
Just laid it out.
Yeah, I swabbed, everything's negative, but it just can't get rid of these
I
things.
just had my face in that steamer, you know, face in the steamer.
Yeah.
Humidifier, nothing's working, nothing working.
Take care.
All right, feel better.
Yeah, we probably shut the doors over there. It's got it done. Everybody put those hands, all of our hands heat up, just sort of keep them chained. That's okay. Yeah, you know anybody? You know, like, I need the good evening.
Be quick.
Always got it in my pocket.
All right, lady in the front. All right, we're gonna move on to public participation. 5 minutes, please. Anybody public participation, please come up, state your name and not your address, with your address on the piece of paper if you don't mind.
That's right, trick mic. Anyway, Greg Liddy, 827 Bunker Hill Avenue. It seems I stirred quite a concern when I questioned the legality of the township attorney's authority to sign the settlement document between the townships and Trenton Block and Hardscape Supply at the last meeting. And when I put in an open request to obtain documents to determine if this council collectively conducted business as a full body as required with the Open Public Meetings Act. It appears that the resolution before you tonight is proof of what I suspected because it appears the township attorney and council are backpedaling and trying to correct the record after the fact. It appears by lack of a paper trail that the township attorney did not have the proper authorization to settle this matter, and the resolution before you tonight is proof of that. The inaccuracies and misleading statements that are in this cover-up resolution are laughable, and when this resolution does get scrutinized after it passes, I truly believe that every council member who votes for this as well as the township manager and the township attorney, will have acted in bad faith. This whole charade that sticks it to the taxpayers appears to do one thing, and that is to deflect the ethical and monetary exposure to the township manager as a private attorney. Just as a reminder to the council members that are voting for this resolution, you took an oath of office to uphold the law. You might want to think about that before you vote on the resolution tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else with public participation? Please state your name and then just write your address down, please.
Well, happy holidays, everyone. Happy holidays, everyone.
Okay, you don't have to move the mic. You just
Okay,
leave the
I
mic
can
in
leave
one
it here,
spot and
Because it
it'll
was
pick
kind
up
of
for you.
in my,
Right, it'll pick up for you.
notes, that's why. Happy holidays, everyone.
Holidays.
Happy December. Thank you. Sylvia Kobus. I'm here tonight to correct the record once again. Resolution number 358-23 is filled with incorrect statements, which if passed tonight will become unfortunate facts. Let me start from the top. Trenton Block and Hardscape Supply Incorporated, in short, Trenton Block. That statement, Trenton Block, is used for both companies. Trenton Building Block, which ceased in existence in 2003, and Trenton Block and Hardscape Supply. So that's the first incorrect statement in that resolution. We move on to the third paragraph or fourth, where all the lots are listed. We're missing lot 15. Where trespass also happened on lot 15. Later, we go into the, in the same paragraph, it says, in or about 1982, Township took possession of those lots. Where the tax map of Lawrence Township, sheet number 5, shows that those lots were vacated and I'm assuming went into the possession of Lawrence Township in on February 2nd, 1966. That's Lawrence Township tax map. I don't know where the typo is, even if it's on the tax sheet or here. And since we did the title search, I think we should have full date stated here in this resolution when the township took possession of those lots, not in or about 1982. The historical pictures, there was a survey done when the sale of that property happened in 2003. So the new owner of the property knew perfectly well where his boundaries were. And and that was Trenton Building Block Company. In 2003, the owner who took over that property changed the name to Trenton Block and Hardscape Supply. And that is owned by MPB Limited Liability Corporation. Two different companies, two different owners. The adverse possession for uncultivated land, that takes 60 years. Not 20, not 10, not 5, 60 years on cultivated land, which is woods, which those lots were before Trenton Block and Hardscape Supply moved into those lots. Mr. Killian admitted to moving into those lots, not by the project that he presented to the planning board, But at the planning board meeting, when he said, yes, nobody took care of those lots, so I did. His attorney was like kicking him under the table to stop talking. So at first possession, right there, really, that defense and putting this in this resolution, it sounds like we're defending Trenton Block and Hardscape Supply, not punishing them for trespassing into the property. Another incorrect information is that the Trenton Block approached the township in 2022. The letter that was sent by the Department of Engineering of Lawrence Township on August 30th, 2022 states that the township was approached in December of 2020. And for the wetlands on the trespass properties, those lots which were trespassed on, the DEP did find wetlands, not on the actual, in those actual spots where there is fill, about 4 feet, which I mentioned here at other hearings, because there was no drilling done. And when there is no drilling done, there is only you can assess it by the vegetation and if the ground is wet. They couldn't determine that. So I mentioned that. In conclusion, the Hickman family purchased the property in 1947. The actual beginning of commercial commercial activity on that property is unknown. We searched and searched and we have no documents of Trenton building block on that property until it was sold to the current owner in 2003. Hold on, I lost my, sorry for that. The first zone was, the first residential zone in that area was established in 1950. And the burden of registering that land as a pre-existing non-conforming land use lies in the hands of the owner of the business. That was never done. So thank you for your time. Happy holidays once again, Happy New Year. Thank you for all your hard work, everybody. And hopefully I'll see you next year.
Thank you, Ms. Sylvia. Is there anyone else for public participation? 5 minutes, please. You have to come down the center aisle.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Just come up and state your name and then write your address down for the record, please.
Hello, I'm Vicki Russo. So, the day of the holiday lights, when we had everybody come, just so happens that my husband had to leave the neighborhood to come get me at the train station. So much trouble getting out of the neighborhood. So I didn't kind of believe him, so I come home and I start filming to show you how congested our neighborhood it was. Everybody was parked on West Long Drive. They were parked all the way around on Orchard. To get out, I have video, but if you want to see it, you can. To get out, it was one of those situations where, you have to go around. It was chaos, lights everywhere. It was dangerous. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is somehow it hit my brain that I had heard, I don't remember who was reading the notes, that the new fire station or the goal of the fire station was to be the heart of the community. There was going to be bingos and a place where the community could gather. My concern is parking And the traffic, the additional traffic, in addition to the fire department, get that, but where's all that, if there's a wedding, a party, a bridal shower, to be the center, it's gonna greatly impact the community. And I'll just say that there's a reason you guys block off, which we so appreciate, July 4th, because there's so much parking. It kind of should have been blocked off on the holiday lights, but I get why you want everybody to walk, it's safe and all that, but that really was an inconvenience, a huge inconvenience in our neighborhood. But it was one day, so who cares? However, if you're gonna have every weekend, you're gonna have some type of community event, even if it's a school going to visit, the fire department as they do, it's gonna cause severe traffic in our neighborhood. Would you like me to show you the video, or do you kind of get it?
I kind of get it personally.
Clerk?
You could show it to the clerk.
No, I was gonna, Mayor, Mr. Mayor?
Absolutely.
I was gonna say, if you'd like to, email it to the clerk will email it to council.
Okay, I would need your email address. I guess I can look that up. But please forgive the sound, play it with no sound. Because we were really upset. Like I said stuff like, how could they do this to us? What are they thinking? So ignore all that and just take it for face value, okay?
Thank you, Ms. Russo. Is there anyone else with public participation, please? Hey, take your time.
I don't want to hurt anybody.
Just state your name, please. Just sign in, please, your address,
Sure.
and then just state. your name.
Everybody seems to be stating their address, but you don't have to.
You don't have to.
Is it optional?
So public safety, so that we
Oh,
we
okay.
live stream on the internet, so that way you
cool.
don't have to give
That
your
makes sense.
address to the internet.
But given the subject matter, you want to know what part of Long Acres, right? So I'll leave it at that.
Madam Clerk.
Thanks for the opportunity. My name is Ray Collins. I've lived in Lawrenceville for 17 years, never been to a meeting. It's quite a group, quite an office you have here. And for the most part, I haven't had a lot of issues in 17 years. We're proud of the township. My daughter successfully went through school. There have been issues. I think West Long Drive has more holes than Cobble Creek Golf Course. I hope someday that gets fixed. I think over the years, historically, no offense to this group, we didn't get the support we needed for the sound wall. And of course, like every citizen, we worry about the rising in taxes. But I don't want to talk about any of that stuff. I want to talk about the central fire station. And there's been a lot of people up here, good people, good neighbors, making very strong arguments. They're passionate, they're smart, they brought facts. I can't add to any of that. What I can tell you is I think what you've done today at this point is you're destroying the community. That's what you're doing. Up to this point, you did a hypothesis that said you need a central station. You did a hypothesis that said the current situation is not sustainable. You have a hypothesis right now to do a feasibility station in our front yard. And it's all we talk about. Nobody's talking about if the Eagles are going to go to the Super Bowl or what they're going to do for Christmas or whether it's going to snow for Christmas. People are angry. They're sad. They're disappointed. They feel they do not have the support of this town. I haven't complained for 17 years. I haven't even come up here. But I can't believe in the direction you're going. It is so, so disappointing. And we've been told, don't worry about it. I read the blogs. I appreciate the business manager keeping us up to speeds and the attachment of the survey. But we've also been told to wait. If I was sitting in the business manager's chair or any one of your chairs, and I believed that the current system was unsustainable, and I had what I believed was a survey that said centralization is the way to go, and I had another survey, which I think you're going to provide us a copy of, a second survey, and it said that the front of our neighborhood or this property here was the right way to go, it's game over. It's game over. You don't have to wait 3 or 4 years. You can go have a public hearing, you can go in private, you can vote for this. So to think we're going to go away It's not gonna happen. It's absolutely not gonna happen. Somebody once said in this meeting that it's 35 of us against 33,000. I will tell you, we're 35 to the power of 3. We're not going away. You poked the bear of Long Acres. We are mad and we're united and we're not going away. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, Sir, come up, state your name, please put your address down.
Hi all, I'm Dr. Luzardo. As you guys know, I live in West Lawn. I've never met Ray. Ray, where are you?
Cooling down.
Yeah. Ray, Ramon, I think you and I are on the same page. It's Christmas, and I actually don't want this to look like what our other council meetings were. This is why I'm trying to basically calm things down now. As you guys know, I'm disappointed. Really, it started with the fire station, but no, it actually started with a house, turned into a fire station, turned into just a level of disrespect where we come here, council meeting after council meeting, see people get yelled at from the stands. But we've seen it all. I mean, think about it. I've only been to 3 of these, counting this one. And we saw, people directing us to a personal blog to get government information, which is the first time. Trust me, don't go to my Facebook page to find out stuff. We saw a study based on geography, not based on population. We saw a petition for a grant that was used for something else. We figured out that we didn't even own the firehouse. It's really been chaos here. That started with something as simple as, hey, they're planning to buy a house, and has spun out of control. And these council meetings, they don't look like council meetings anymore. No, it's funny because at a bank not too far from here, my parents taught me a lesson. Back in 1990, I was 6 years old, and I don't know if you remember the markers that people used to use to figure out if the dollars were real. I asked my mom what it was because we were at the teller, and she's like, oh, they're trying to figure out if it's real or not. And the teller told me, oh, I don't use those. See, she knew what the real dollar looked so much that all the fake ones just look funny to her. If you watch any council meeting from any other town, including the surrounding areas, you would see what a real council meeting looks like. And it doesn't look like what we see here. Chaos, yelling, disrespect, over and over and over again. And I realized what we have is something that's building correctly, which is leading to decisions being building correctly. And that's the problem. Sylvia's giving us a history lesson on our town, right? I looked at the structure because I wanted to see what it looked like. Our municipal manager has these roles: qualified purchasing agency, director of community development, member of planning board, director of public safety, director of affordable housing, social media manager, and now the cameraman as well. Of course, you're gonna drop some balls if you have 8 different jobs. But what happened is that we did it under the notion of, oh, we'll save a few dollars. And what we did is we removed checks and balances. We don't have an HR here. We have a centralized system with someone having all these roles. And that is incorrect. Here's the thing. Powers and I got it at back and forth last 2 weeks ago, Powers. And let me tell you, I took some time and I had to listen to what I said. And I realized something, bad company does corrupt good character. I looked at your background, Powers. You work at Buchanan, a respected firm that I know. Powers, you were the mayor that decreased our spending by 11% when the municipal manager presented something. Powers, you were mayor of the year. You set up, ask the mayor, right? But because you're an environment of chaos, you ended up saying something. We'll put it at the moon if we want to. And when I looked at your background, I'm like, man, this guy's a good guy, put in a bad situation, and now he's saying chaos. And I don't want people to remember you for that. As a matter of fact, I don't think this is conducive towards the great character that you have. And when I look at all the other board members, I bet you said that, Stanford, dude, show you my rejection letter. Come on, right? Like, what are we doing here? Council, we got it wrong. We got it wrong. But I want to say something, and I'll wrap up this quickly. You know, when we get it wrong, it seems like women show up and deliver. And that's what's powerful on this. See, before we were all showing up, Sylvia was showing up alone. See, when we had a question, Catherine respectfully stood up on the last council meeting and said, Ramon, let me explain to you. And everyone was like, oh, that's how council people are supposed to speak to residents. When the cameraman failed, Tanya had a recording of the last voice meeting. And then when we were presenting a development project, Olympia stood up and asked a few questions. And we noticed, wow, this council's about to change. Right? I want to say something to the women in this room. Thank you, because you guys stood up when we weren't around. And to the two beacons of light that are standing over there, Olympia and Tricia, we voted for you. And it's true what Ray said. Yeah, there's 40. He was iterating what Kevin said last council meeting. There's 43 people here and there's thousands of people out there. No, we voted for you. You guys are beacons of light. We stand with you. And we're excited about the change that we're going to make here. My ask is this. After clearly seeing that we've built this wrong, do not make any significant decisions today disrespecting the new council that in 12 days is coming on board. Debrief them, include them. Do not make any significant decisions. They should be part of the conversation. They are your key to winning our trust. Any decisions made today are going to be scrutinized. And finally, when we get our act together, know that we're not against you. We're showing up because we want to build a town where we want to see our kids, our grandkids, future generations rise. But we're at the precipice of history. And I'm asking you to make the right decisions. Make sense?
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else?
Do you sign in again?
No, just state your name again.
This is just part
Mr.
two.
Collins,
This is
I got
part
you
two.
down at 7:04.
No, I had a second part that I let go, and I want to say it, and it's less controversial, but more of, as we go through this process and we disagree, I really want to understand what's going to happen to volunteers. And I will tell you, tonight was very emotional, seeing the families, bringing the professionals on, seeing the volunteers here, supporting them, and I guess the argument that they can work together and run a fire department. But it's not clear to many of the citizens of what the plan is. We've heard council members say a centralized fire station will have 50 full-time officers, implying that the volunteers will go away. Yet Mr. Nowinski has said that in all his blogs that volunteers are here to stay for several years, which is what I want to hear. My son was a volunteer for 6 years. It's a fantastic experience. It led to a professional job. I know how committed they are. And through this process, I don't want to lose our volunteers. We all saw them around Christmas out there, bitter cold, running along their cars, not because they wanted to be, they did it for us. So no matter where this ends up, even if we're not able to agree, don't kill our volunteers. They've done too much for this community. I think they're the heart of Lawrenceville. Thank you.
Is there anyone else with public participation? You have to come up again, sir. And just state your name.
Okay, it's Dr. Luzardo. I forgot to state because I want to make sure it's a very clear ask for the council. Okay? Resolution number 352, authorizing a closed session of council immediately following the regular meeting to discuss Falconer Act matter, ETS tax appeal, labor negotiations, and land acquisition. I want to make it clear, council. Our request is do not make any significant decisions. I don't think I should buy a house without my wife knowing about it. I don't think you guys should be discussing a land acquisition. One, in a closed session, which honestly, in an environment where there's distrust, I don't think it looks very good. But again, without the future team that's about to step in 12 days. So my ask is very specific. Miscellaneous 352 in that closed session. I encourage you to make the right decision because when we open up the new year on this upcoming council meeting, know that that's going to be the first thing that's going to be asked. Sounds good? Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yes? Sign your address, please, and then state your name for the record. Thank you.
Hello, thank you all for your service, we really appreciate it. I just have one question.
Name, please? Your name?
Terry Smith.
Thank
I
you.
just have one question. Can we get a copy of the second study?
For the,
Or the Long Acre, the fire station study?
I don't think, it has not been released?
It's going to be released.
Yeah, it's not released right now,
The
correct?
new council members are gonna come on board, they're gonna be able to review it, and then they're gonna decide with the rest of the council when it's released to the public.
After January.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Paul Warren. Tough to follow Ramon, he's a tough act to follow. But I can't sit here and not say how much I appreciate what he had to say, agree with what he had to say. We had a lunch over at the venue, several of my neighbors and I, and we felt the same way. No matter what this board committee does today, we hope they hold off on anything until the new board has a chance to sit down and consider those things. And my big ask is common sense, please. Use some common sense, whatever you do. And it seems like the major problem here is not how many fire stations we have or where they are. The major problem seems to be firefighters and getting enough firefighters to man whatever we end up having as far as fire stations. It was great to see, 9 new employees here? But I would encourage you to do whatever you can to encourage as many young volunteers as possible. I would love to see each of those neighborhood fire departments made the center of a social mega
for their communities. You're asking if we end up with a fire station behind us or in front of us here, you're asking those firefighters, those volunteers that are used to getting out of bed and jumping 10, 20, 30, 50 feet to their fire station, you're asking those same volunteers to get in their car and drive here? Seriously, how many volunteers are we going to lose if we do end up with a consolidated fire company? Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your comment. I think that we should really put on the page. Oh, hi. Yeah. We should highlight the volunteer firefighters too, like we do everybody else on the page too, about their service, their community. You look so familiar. I can't, I'm telling you. Wait, what was it? What was that?
It'll come.
Gosh. The Bionic Man.
Yeah. Steve Grover, 16 Temple Terrace. On a totally different plateau, I would like to thank council members Mike Powers and Catherine McDuff for their time on council. I worked with Mike for many, many years, far too many for me to remember, I'm sure for him as well. And the time and the effort that they put in, I would like to thank them for their service to the community.
Absolutely. Thank you. Is there anyone else for, I know you.
But this one's gonna be really short. I just want to follow up on a conference meeting. During your meetings, it's been said a number of times, and I don't doubt it.
Just state your name again, sir.
Ray Collins,
All right, thank you.
18 West Long Drive.
Yeah, no, yeah, just your name. Thank you, sir.
In several of the meetings, it's talked about the fact that we're having trouble attracting and retaining volunteer firemen, as the gentleman before me stated. And I don't doubt that. In fact, all business is having trouble attracting and retaining talent. This is my 40th year in human resources. I've been doing it a long time. You don't throw them out and say you give up, you can't do it. You change the workplace. And so the argument I would make for our volunteers is that at community we come together and we think about ways we can attract them, whether it's access to the township healthcare, recognition awards, service awards, company discounts, training to make them for better jobs. But all I've heard is we're giving up on them. And as I said before, let's create an environment where they want to work for us because it's a great experience and they want to stay versus just making a decision to go to professionals because we don't think we can get enough volunteers. I don't think that's the answer. I think let's try to fix the problem than throwing them out. Thank you.
Is there anyone else for public participation? 5 minutes?
I think this speaks first.
Jim Cleese, before I forget and get off on other things, I want to second Steve's comments, thanking our departing council people, most especially Mike, who I think I remember when he first came more years ago than I can care to remember, for your service. About all the brouhaha about what do we do about the fire issues, and I can only imagine how I would feel about all this if I lived around here like the people who are directly affected. But besides that, the volunteer issue, I wish this wasn't true, but I have a feeling that ship has sailed, that there's just been, we all kind of know that volunteers have been a generational thing. Their fathers were and their grandfathers were, and but it's not imagination. They've been decreasing regularly over time. And I don't know what the answer is. I know that it's that I've heard people who've been volunteers for years saying now, when there's guys that are getting paid, when I get they don't blame the guys that are getting paid, I think, but I've heard them say, when I go 3 o'clock in the morning and call that I've rolled out for years, I'm not gonna roll out now, let the guys who are getting paid roll out. And I can't blame them. And that's, and even the people who aren't getting full-time paid, people who I think didn't work for years as chiefs and deputy chiefs and didn't get anything, and now those same positions are getting some kind of a $2,500 a year or something. And again, you don't resent it, but all this acts to discourage past volunteers from continuing, I'm afraid. And I don't, and I don't know how you attract new ones. Maybe there is by giving some kind of a stipend or health benefits and so on for new ones would certainly be a step in the right direction, but it's not black and white, and it's not simple. I just wanted to share with you things that I've heard personally, longtime volunteers say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Freed, appreciate it. Sir? All right, this gentleman behind you that raised his hand.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
That's all right. Just state your name for the record, please. Thank you.
Robert Bowden Smith. This is my second council tenure, and I thank you for your service. I haven't been a councilman, but in my career and stuff, I've been volunteer for institutions and ended up the president. And I understand the sort of burden of council. But by being council people, there is responsibility that you have. And when I did it, I wasn't paid. I took it very seriously. And like everybody has been saying here, it is important that the new members coming on, and it's a great privilege of what you're doing. And I thank you all for the service, but it is a responsibility. And sometimes you do things or you get frustrated. I think Mr. Powers was last time, 22 service in the council is fantastic, great job. And I echo what people have said supporting. But it was quite disappointing about 50 firemen. I'm not fireman, I don't have a clue. But it wasn't it was not listening. And maybe I misunderstood because I don't understand how the Lawrenceville Council think or have behaved in history. But it's disappointing when maybe it was by mistake and the sort of offhand about the public trying to listen to us. We're trying to say things here. We may be wrong, like my wife said, we want to look at the report. Maybe we don't understand it, but we will read that report. We'll look at it, take it seriously, and come to the public with our comments. That's what we do. We're engaged. This team is engaged. And Mr. Powers, again, thanks for 22 years, but it came across, look, we've got no choice here. Like the gentleman said over there, we've got 50, why, we need 50 fire people. 3 would be 150. We can't afford it. It has to be 50. Therefore, it's going to be centralized. But I'm a stats man. Now, I know stats. I know things and how to look at things. I looked at the firefighters, the United States. Volunteers started. They started as volunteers. It's great history. It's I think Ray said that it's part of the ethics of a community, the heritage, the professionalism, but of the volunteers. They're doing it for nothing. They're getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever time. But when I was looking through all the data and stuff like that Pennsylvania is the #1 volunteer state. Pennsylvania. The whole United States, 65% volunteers. They had issues with not enough volunteers, like the gentleman said. They now pay on a call out. I've never been a fire person, but I really appreciate it. When I ran plants and all that sort of stuff, I became part of the EH, I became part of the community. I actually gave money to it, to help it, because I love volunteers. I love that. I've seen no pamphlet or say we're looking for volunteers. This is the history. Please try. You'll have people listening. 2 years, 1 month. So this is not knocking you, but just please. We're not stupid people, or I'm a little bit stupid, but we want you to listen to us. We may get it wrong, and we'll give you our advice, and then you can say no. But allow us that. And I echo the doctor saying, look, let us have the report. Let us look at the report. Then we'll add it. And please don't just move it on. And I really like, Mr. Kevin, that you write those blogs. It is. But sometimes the tone is, there's a misconception, there's all this stuff. You won't, we will look after firefighters, or we are not going to do this in a vacuum, or whatever the nice thing. It's a generality. You say it in general, and the feeling is, and maybe it's a wrong feeling, is you're not realistic. You're just moving it along. So I think I'll speak not just to myself, but to this community, like Ray said. It's a lovely community. Lawrenceville is lovely. And I respect the council for what it's trying. But please allow us to see what that report is, allow us to make comments, and that's all we can ask for. So please treat us with respect like we treat you with respect. Thank you.
To the gentleman,
Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith.
Pauline Smith, actually.
Pauline Smith. First of all, if I appeared frustrated at the last council meeting, I apologize, but that's democracy. We want you guys to come out. We want you guys to be engaged. That's the democratic process. It's messy. There's not going to be agreement on everything. It's not going to be perfect. And so I just want to respond in terms of the volunteers. You hear from Manager Nowinski, we would be lost without the volunteers in this community. And when you saw those gentlemen being sworn tonight, some of them, the Delavics, they have a history of being volunteers in our community. The volunteers are being put into those paid positions. So I don't want people to leave with this anti-volunteer thing. We want these volunteers to become paid firefighters. And you said you're a statistician. We have the 2% cap, which keeps our budget at the same level plus 2%. So when we add these individuals, it restricts how many people
up to the 2% cap that we can add to grow our volunteer force, grow our paid force. So that's some of the issues that are there. I'm gonna give some remarks later on there, but I just wanted to address that please
sir.
don't be frustrated. This is part of the democratic process. It's going to continue with Patricia and Olympia, and that's democracy. Thanks, Mayor.
You're welcome, thank you. Mr. Eric, please come up and sign your name and then state it for the record. I see you got the memo with the red tie, thank you.
Yeah, I guess. No, I figured I should dress up a little bit for Mike there. Eric Barash, lifelong resident. I didn't know you were here, Steve, until you got up, but I've known Steve since 3 years old, 1965. I just wanted to personally thank everybody on council. Mike, you and I became a little bit closer in 2016. I don't know how many years of service Catherine has had, but in specifics, to thank everybody here for what you do, and I will continue to come to meetings in the new year. So I just wanted to be brief that way. There's a lot of things that I could speak, but to be continued. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My name is Bruce Levine. Yeah, I'm just a little confused as to where we're at in this process. I might have said the same thing 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, we came to a meeting, and I specifically recall two things. Number one, no decision had been made yet as to whether to consolidate a firehouse in one central location. And number two was, if we do decide to do it, where that location will be. And now it's 2 weeks later. Doesn't sound like any public reports were released or any public sessions were held. And I'm hearing something about closed door meeting session where we're gonna make some decisions. So I'm just sort of, I wanna make sure there weren't hollow comments made 2 weeks ago where we didn't make any decisions, unless you're gonna tell me, hey, well, that was true then, and 2 weeks later, we've made all our decisions. We've read all our reports and we're all set to go. So I just wanna make sure that everybody is staying on the up and up. A lot of people have said it, they'd like to see reports. So I hope that's the process here. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you guys are allowed to just shut the doors, make a decision, and go home. But, so I'm just hoping that, what was said 2 weeks ago, we're back here, we're all here, we're still concerned, it's growing a little bit more, and, we just want to be part of the process. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Larry Russo. So I'm a little confused. I just want clarification. A study was done to consolidate one place. Lawrence Road Fire Station was given a grant for $720,000 as a property to evaluate that consolidation. Somewhere in there, we lost that building. We lost ownership of that. How does a township lose ownership of one of the 3 properties for the fire department? I don't understand how that just transpires and the comment was made, well, we no longer own it. Isn't it your responsibility to keep track of a municipal building like that? that's vital to our community. And now that we no longer own it, it's not under consideration because for whatever reason, it's not being considered anymore, although the grant was specific for that property. I don't know how that transpires. And that's good for an answer now, but I think we need to know, like, how do we leave the ownership of that? And like, whose responsibility was it? And no offense to Mr. Nowinski, who has 8 roles here, did he miss something here? Second thing is, we're gonna spend $10 million, $15 million for a new building. Wouldn't it be better to upgrade the 3 existing buildings? I don't know the 2% cap, I don't understand that, but can we give the volunteers something, each one of those 3 facilities, or less than 10, 15, 20 million, we're gonna spend for a new building and make it worthwhile for them to be volunteers. I don't know if that's possible, but you're gonna spend a lot of money here when you probably keep the volunteers in place, add new volunteers, and keep the township well supported by 3 distinct locations, which will support all the fires in the area. By consolidating here, it's a little concerning as well. Anyway, that's it.
Yes, sir. Is it, Doctor, is it the same? Because nothing has changed.
Something different.
No,
I'm sorry. Oh,
just state your name again, sir.
Again, I don't want to be here all night. I don't, but, you know, this could be a lot sooner. I mean, there's a point in this where we either look a little crazy or like what's happening. And it's true, like the guy just said, how did we lose track of a building, but ask someone for like $725,000 to make a study on it? No, we didn't know. That's strange, honestly. I think this, I'm a little disappointed tonight. Actually, I came here to defend Powers, Bob it. I know where Ryan and Catherine stand, but again, thank you. I think you serve your community. I don't want you to leave with a stain as you exit. Thank you for what you're doing. Kevin, you know what's sad? How many people have stood up here? You haven't looked at them once.
That's not true.
Yeah. And
It's not true.
And listen,
It's not true.
it's okay. Well, the good thing, there's a video, right? Like, just like that, if you want to refer back to the video, please look at October 3rd, at the 53rd minute. Have this on record. October 3rd at the 53rd minute, where Kevin says, we're in an absolute tailspin. At the point that he was made to expose the 3 West Long Drive. Right? Come on. And the thing is, right, I did an Oprah request. And October 9th, we came here to discuss an appraisal. And when I did an Oprah request, to see him on the October 3rd, the council met in a closed session about the 3 West Long Drive, and it talks about an appraisal. So, I mean, it distinctly reminds me of Sylvia's case, where she shows up to a meeting the day after to make a decision, but the meeting was made the day before. And at that point, it clicked. And I wonder what decisions have been made, and this is why I want to be explicit, that the council should not make any significant moves or decisions. Particularly, there's going to be a closed session today on Faulkner Act, ETS tax appeal, labor negotiations, and a land acquisition. Keep coming back to that because there are 2 people here that are going to be important to that decision. So please use your judgment. Lead in the right place. Lead as an example. That's what we're requesting here. We want to support you. We want to be there for you.
For anyone else? Oh, participation.
Mr. Mayor, I would like an opportunity to speak. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of information out there that's not correct.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So,
I was hopeful that somebody up here would share what the plan is with regard to our study and give a bit of a background on it, because I certainly don't want to talk. But I'm going to talk because I've been involved in this community, lived and worked in it for 58 years, and it means a lot to me. And I've served it for more than 25 years. And I want to just systematically go through some things. When you appointed me as the role of municipal manager, at that time I was appointed, the municipal manager handled the community development job and handled, what was the other job? Affordable housing was later. It involved the public director of public safety, community development, municipal manager. That was the positions that it involved, and they're all interwoven. And having served as a municipal attorney previously, I was well versed in handling that subject matter. When our director of affordable housing resigned or retired, having the background on that and taking no additional compensation at all, I took over his responsibilities to allow us the opportunity to hire a community aide, somebody that could help directly interact with the community to provide information. Because as you all know, when you hired me, you wanted more information to flow from the municipal manager's office. We talked about engaging the public in a meaningful way on social media, and you had an expectation that I do that. That's come back to haunt me. The more information provided, the more comes back. And it's regretful. I've said multiple times publicly, I've said it on social media because it's a good way to communicate with a lot of people, that we applied for a grant to study our fire service and to determine whether or not it was appropriate for this community to have a central emergency station. It was money that was made available by the state. It's not made available every single year. It was an opportunity that we seized to apply for so we could use money provided by the state DCA to better understand our situation. I started here in 2017. Since 2017, every single year we have worked with and developed and helped bring back the volunteer fire in a variety of ways. I've heard people say, paper call is a good thing. Yeah, we do that. I heard people say stipends may be a good thing. Yeah, we do that. I heard people say maybe there's other financial incentives that could be made available. We do it from the LoSAP program. We provide the volunteers with annually, each fire company gets, I think, $60,000 a year from the township because we appreciate and value their community service. I have met with the volunteer leadership over and over and over again over the last 6 years to work with them to come up with a means to keep them active, to keep them viable, and to keep them serving this community. And they know that. They all know that. Because if they're active and they serve the community, we are better off. And that's not lost on me. So when we did our fire study, that was funded prior to me getting here, we did it. That fire study gave us a list of recommendations that we, since 2020, systematically implemented to solidify the volunteer fire company and also to shore up and increase the career fire staff. I'm not going to be up here and tell you information that I'm privy to as the Director of Public Safety in terms of the deep concern that I have with regard to response from a volunteer staff, whether they're getting out at all or in what time they are. It exists. So over these past years, and I took over from Rich Crosland, who the last thing he said to me when I sat in his office, he said, your problem, your greatest problem in this community will be the fire response problem. And he was right. And so this is not new. We have not just said, opened our eyes and said, hey, let's do something fun and build a fire station here. We systematically, over the last 6 years, tried to address this problem, this public safety issue, in a responsible way, a financial way, in a way that shows deep respect to the more than 100 years of service that our volunteers have provided this community. I was a little kid in the Slackwood Firehouse at the pancake breakfasts, and I looked up to all those firemen. And there was a time, and you all know this, 6 years ago, I said, wouldn't it be great for our community to get back to that? To open up the firehouses to the community, and it could be a good way to grow the numbers, and we work towards doing that. There has been no decision at all, on what to do with our fire response. We are information gathering because we received a $725,000 grant to better understand our situation. There's been no decision at all, and there will not be, and we've discussed what we planned on doing. When the new government is impaneled, we were gonna share the reports with you, get you up to speed on all the things that you should know as an elected official. And then have a series of public meetings with all the reports out there. So when you come up and you ask your questions, there'll be experts, consultants here, all the paperwork will be here, and we'll have a meaningful dialogue about it all. This is a regular council meeting with a regular agenda. And because I went out and announced, I thought was a great thing, getting a $725,000 grant to better understand our community, it ended up being the worst thing. And that's transparency turned on its head, because all it did was fuel the rumor mill and caused people to come up with questions that aren't answered yet. We don't have the answers yet. We're years away from making any type of substantial decision on what we're doing with our fire response. Years away. But we have this great opportunity to study it, to learn about it, and make an informed decision that you all have to make as elected officials. And so this distrust is because we're not even at the part yet where we have the community dialogue, the meaningful dialogue. And it's very frustrating to be up here and have the attacks that we're doing things in secret. Closed sessions happen all the time in every municipality in the state of New Jersey because it allows the elected officials to discuss, strategize, and make decisions in a way because they're elected by all of you to do the work of the community. And there are times, land acquisition, discussion, negotiations, that cannot flow out because it jeopardizes the financial situation of the town and the taxpayers. We lose opportunities. We identify a piece of land and all of a sudden, other people may say, hey, let's go buy that land. The township is interested in it. We'll drive up the price. And now all of a sudden, we put the taxpayers in the wrong situation. So there is a very important reason for closed sessions. And I want you all to know that. I wish it wasn't me telling you this because I hate to sound my own voice at times. But I trust this governing body. There are checks and balances. I make no decision if these guys don't have the final say in terms of budgeting, in terms of big items that affect public safety of this community. The checks and balances exist. That's what our government is all about. Your feedback is absolutely important, but let's make it informed and let's have a meaningful meeting on a specific issue as many times as the elected officials feel necessary until they make their decision. We have the responsibility. I go to bed every single night with my head on my pillow, feeling absolutely fine about the work that I do, because I know it's in my heart, and I know I'm doing what's right for the community. The disconnect here, that's awful. I regret it completely. And I think it's because there's a lack of information about where we are. And thank you for the time to allow me to at least express those thoughts to you.
Thank you, sir.
Are you closed?
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were still.
We do have a 3-minute coming up if you would,
Oh, okay.
hold on to that, Mr. Cleve, if you don't mind. We're gonna close public participation for 5 minutes. We're gonna do the review and revision, Mike, I believe, isn't there?
Yes, we have a few things, Mayor. H5 to add to the closed session to include legal representation for an undisclosed whistleblower claim. H9 to amend the third paragraph on page 2 to add the term eligible between all and council members, or the all eligible council members. And H10 to add the Colonial Bowling Lanes amusement license. I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki,
Yes.
Ms. McDuff,
Did we get a copy of H10?
Oh, you should have. But the whole other, H10 is the bowling alley one.
Yeah, mine only goes up to 9.
Yeah, we didn't get a 10.
Well, here, you can just look at it.
To read it.
You should have had it. The renewal of an amusement.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the,
It's just the renewal of the amusement license.
For Columbia.
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, it's renewal. It's a renewal.
No, we didn't see it. It was added, we didn't see it. That's why
Understood, Mayor, understood.
That's fine.
I apologize.
Yes, thank you, Madam Clerk. My vote is yes, thank you.
Mr. Powers
Yes.
and Mayor Ryan.
Yes, thank you. Do motion for 8A, please.
Mayor, move the regular meeting September 19th, 2023 minutes.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki,
Yes.
Ms. McDuff,
Yes,
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Mayor Ryan.
Yes. Get a motion for 9A, please.
Mayor, move 9A, number 345, authorizing the contract for the rehabilitation of 48 Merritt Drive.
I'll second that.
This is under our affordable housing rehabilitation program.
Very good. Is there any public participation for this? Seeing none, we're gonna close that. No introduction of ordinances on that.
Mr. Chair, I think we need to vote on that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Motion on the table.
Mr.
Madam
Bobbitt,
Clerk?
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki,
Yes.
Ms. McDuff,
yes.
Mr. Powers.
Yes.
Mayor Ryan.
Yes. No introduction of ordinance. We're gonna do 11A, please.
Mayor, move 11A, ordinance number 2461-23, an ordinance amending consolidated license permit fee chapter of Lawrence Township Administrative Code, lead inspection fees for rental units, DCA, and health, and amend fees for identification card and pistol permit for firearms purchase.
Second.
These are amendments required by state law to comply with the new lead inspection testing requirement for the municipality, as well as the firearm purchases consistent with state law.
Is there any public participation for this? Seeing none, we're gonna close that. We have the manager's report. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll vote on it. My apologies.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki,
Yes.
Ms. McDuff,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Mayor Ryan.
Yes. Now we do the manager's report.
The only thing I have to report is that on Federal Point and Federal City Road and Bull Run Road, the traffic light situation, I've provided you information by email, but I'm going to do it publicly so everybody understands that I met with the officials from Hopewell Township and Ewing Township, and that that we have a plan to move forward with an engineering design work for both lights. Hopewell and Ewing officials have to vote to approve an apportionment and share for the cost of the study, which we believe to be about $100,000, in each town paying a third of that. I hope to hear back from Hopewell and Ewing by the end of the year, so we can include whatever monies we have designated in our municipal budget for that type of work.
So very good. Attorney's report.
I have a couple things, Mayor. ETS filed a tax appeal which could have significant consequences for us. I've been waiting for a settlement proposal from them, and we finally got it after waiting for some time. I need to sit down with the assessor first and go through that settlement proposal, and then we're gonna come back to council and get you updated on that. I think there's a potential settlement here. One of the factors in this is setting the books for 2024. So this may require some immediate action when the new council comes on board. So anyway, I'm identifying that as something out there in the wings. I think everybody will recall our Mount Laurel settlement involved a development on Lennox Drive, behind Lennox Drive, the old Brandywine site. The builder was required to build the affordable units within so much time of the market units being brought online. They've made a request essentially to be allowed to build 11 more market units than the settlement which we entered into. They would therefore go from 72 to 83. And they're making the commitment that they would build all of the affordable at the time they get their 83rd CO. There was also a restriction, not just on COs, but sales. And they haven't articulated what they want in sales, and I've spoken to their attorney. Beth McManus is aware of what's going on. I reached out to our court master only to be told that he no longer is allowed to work on this matter. So we're going to need a consent order. I'm going to need your approval. But Fair Share Housing has already indicated they're okay with this. They think it will facilitate the construction of the market rate units. The developer was late in getting his construction loan. The construction lender's not advancing monies. They want to see sales of market units. So I shared some correspondence. I think you all received that. Laura Danker is with Fair Share Housing Center. And as you know, the court gives a lot of weight to what Fair Share says in this context. So I've asked their attorney to be more articulate and put exactly what he wants on the table. But they're also saying they're in a rush and they need us to react to this. So as soon as I get their true proposal, I talked to Fair Share, I'm going to be bringing that back to council. I'm inclined to recommend that we go along with this because we will be ahead of COA's percentage completion should this all happen, and it should all happen this June. Now, it's right behind my office. I see the construction. The buildings are up. And Jim Parviz can verify how far along the affordable buildings are, and they're more than 50% along right now. So that's just another issue that I'm going to need council's approval to go and enter into a consent order. Trenton Waterworks case. You know that DEP retained experts to develop 3 reports on the water system. These are critical to understanding how the system can be improved. It's a complex operation. I looked for experts for our case, and they're really not out there. DEP took the laboring oar, but these consultant reports, which were supposed to be done, are delayed. Every party agreed to an extension I spoke to the township manager. We would look foolish if we didn't agree to that extension, and I agreed to it. So we're going to extend this discovery and these reports until June, but they're going to be very illuminating for us. They're going to help us understand what needs to be done to make Trenton Waterworks more dependable, to operate better. So these reports, I think, are a critical solution to the problems that are down there. So I'm just letting you know that we're off for 6 months. No, I have some comments in closed session, but they're limited, so I'll save that for later. You know what? I do want to make a statement, though. I want to make a statement about the resolution and about Trenton Block. After the township, in negotiations with Trenton Block, tried to get them to get back onto their property, and they bogged down, I was told to sue them and to remove them from the township property on Cherry Tree Lane. I filed suit. Trenton Block answered. They had various defenses. And we could have engaged in discovery and motion practice, and this could have gone on for a year or more. Actually, the way litigation is bogged down in the Mercer County Courthouse, it could have gone on for a lot more than a year. Instead, I was able to negotiate a settlement where Trenton Block would remove themselves from our property where they've been, either them, Trenton Block, or their predecessor. And the resolution should probably indicate there's the Trenton Block that owns now, and then there's the predecessor Trenton Block. They're all in the same business. They've been conducting the same operation, but they've been there since 1947 is when they bought the property. So they've been there, and in my view, I did exactly what council asked me to do, which is I saved the taxpayers a whole lot of litigation money, and they're off our property. Today, I can tell you, they're off our property, and they've relocated the gate that they used to access their site through our property. I went down there and I walked the property myself. Now, a resolution formally approving what I had already been instructed to do escaped my mind. Getting authorization from the council to settle as set forth in the consent order was important. And I made sure the council members saw that consent order before it was agreed to in court. Look, a resolution at the October 17th meeting might have made some sense, but it wasn't going to change the authorization I was given. And the court management date was that week. There's a resolution on tonight memorializing what was done. Had the settlement involved the township paying money or the township taking specific action, the need for the resolution would have been much more clear. I was basically given an assignment, and I accomplished my assignment. There was a question from the public about whether I had the authority to settle. I asked the members of council on the dais in a public meeting, did you give me the authority to settle, or am I crazy? And I know that the majority all said, yes, you have the authority. So this resolution is nothing more than a written memorialization of the fact that the majority of this council authorized me to settle, and we did. And Trenton Block is off our land forever. It's my recommendation. We put up a fence with the money we saved on the litigation. And should they ever touch the fence, that's a new cause of action for us to sue them for damaging our fence and coming on our property. I think the fence ends this issue about their accretion and how they wind up slipping onto our site. That's my recommendation. I mean, I'm going to also say something else. I'm going to say this, and I've been the township attorney for a long time. Mr. Politi was a councilman for probably 12 years or more. We have a process here, and you're required to be in court. You're required to give an answer. You're trying to settle things. It can't wait for the next meeting to have the sense of where council is. The manager has polled you in the past. The prior manager, Rich Crossan, the prior manager, Bill Gould, would poll the council. Where are you on this issue? Because we can't meet every day. And that's always the way we've done things. I have to tell you, it's my intention from now on that any matter that I'm involved in, no matter how mundane, I'm gonna ask that it be placed on the council agenda. I mean, I've only tried to work as hard as I can for this town since I've been affiliated with this town. For people to say I got some agenda, I don't know I don't know the guy who wants to try to lie. I mean, I tried to do what I thought my mission was, and I think I accomplished my mission. And I saved the taxpayers time and money. So, you know, if you want to attack me, but I gotta tell you that I've had nothing but the town's best interests at heart in this whole process. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Did we have a formal vote on that? Or that was just a majority?
It was our discussion, Mayor. I'm not gonna get into it now. I mean, I certainly had direction from the majority of this.
No, I'm
council,
asking the
so-
clerk. Did we have a formal
Are you
vote on that for the full governing body on that?
Are you talking about in closed session? Or are you talking
Yeah,
about-
in closed session or out of closed session.
There was, it was a vote for, well, not a vote, it was.
It wasn't a vote.
Poll, you were polled. You were given you were asked by our attorney if you gave him consent to move forward.
Not to
And-
settle, just to
To
move.
to settle on the fence. It's in the minutes, to settle on the fence.
You know what? We're not gonna resolve this
Yeah.
now.
On the fence,
To
right?
settle on.
On the settlement, you couldn't put up a fence unless we got the property back,
Right.
Mayor. I don't know how you put a fence up when Trenton Block is still on the
Yeah.
property.
You
so.
were asked, that was asked, and then 3 people said that. You
I'm
was
sorry?
talking about something else, and, Councilwoman McDuff, recused herself.
Thank you. Is that it, Madam Clerk?
All right, so reorganization is coming up on, January 1st, 2024, 12 news.
12.
Yes. Okay. The books are gonna go out for that on December 29th to our new elects and the rest of you, on council. Let's see what else I have here. The boards and committees, listing will be in there in those books. Also, we received in 3 applications for the judge position. I will also have that in there in the books as well. And I just want to say that I congratulate Mike for all the 20 years you've been here, Mike. As you know, it's been great serving with you. It's wonderful. And Katie, for the 1 year, it's been great serving with you as well. Okay, I miss you.
Mayor, could I use that as a segue for my
You-
retirement remarks?
How could I turn that down? Come on,
All right.
absolutely.
Thank you, Mayor. I know everybody's
3
hungry.
minutes, 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
No. Only kidding.
All right, 20 years. It's 20 years.
Give them at least 5.
Serving as an elected official on the council is a long time. 20 years ago, the Township Master Plan called for a commercial boulevard to be built with streetscape improvements on alternate Route 1. And today, the Brunswick Avenue Boulevard is a reality. 20 years ago, the Lawrence Hopewell Bike Trail was just a concept. Today, the Lawrence portion of the trail is complete, and now there are plans to expand the Lawrence Hopewell Trail to our neighboring communities of Trenton and Princeton. 20 years ago, there were no solar panels at the municipal complex, and I know the staff likes it when it's snowing and raining. Today, besides the solar panels, the township has electrical vehicle charging stations available for public use, and the township has begun to convert the township vehicle fleet to electric to further reduce the township's carbon footprint. During the Great Recession, then Governor Christie cut the state's municipal aid to the township by $1 million, and the township was forced to spend down the budget reserve to less than $154,000 to minimize the number of layoffs, yes, layoffs, and avoid substantial property tax increases to our residents. Today, the township has a healthy $9 million budget reserve ready to address the next economic downturn. And each year we've been adding, like you saw here tonight, much needed labor to public works, police, paid EMT, and paid fire staff to address the decline in emergency response volunteers. Several years ago, there was no grocery store in the Lawrence Shopping Center after the Acme closed, followed by most of the remaining retail stores in the shopping center. Today, the Lidl grocery store anchors the shopping center, and the Lawrence Shopping Center is again thriving with commerce, including my wife's favorite store, Starbucks. During my 20 years on council, I've had the honor and privilege of working with 4 chiefs of police, 3 municipal managers, 3 township attorneys, 2 municipal clerks, including that clerk in the back there, several department heads, including that former recreation head, Steve Grover, and now it is my turn to retire. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge my family who's here today, my wife Nancy and my twin sons, Christopher and Hunter. I love you guys. Serving on township council is not easy. I heard one gentleman say the burden. Each year, council members are confronted with making difficult voting decisions that not everyone is going to be happy about. Serving on township council requires a tremendous time commitment and takes a toll on family time. Besides the council meeting, 2 members of council serve on the planning board. All council members serve as council liaison to multiple advisory committees that also hold meetings. During my 20 years on township council, I've had the honor and privilege of serving with 13 different council members, including former Mayor Greg Politti and current County Commissioner Kathleen Lewis, who texted she's on her way here tonight, and a few Republicans back in the day. We used to have Republicans. Mayor Ryan, my fellow golfer and political running mate, thank you for allowing me to pinch hit for you at community events this year. I truly appreciated those opportunities during my last year on council, so thank you, Mayor, for that. Councilwoman McDuff, you ruined my speech. I was all prepared to say I was once in your shoes as a newly elected official. Enjoy your time on council. It goes by quickly, but then Katie decided to step down from the council this year. But being serious, Councilwoman McDuff deserves a round of applause as being the youngest elected official. Your law firm, Stevenson Lee, is fortunate to have you in your government affairs group, and I know your future as a lawyer will be a bright one. Councilman Bobbitt, we did not get off on the right foot because of one of those difficult voting decisions I had to make. But through the years, we've grown to work closely together on difficult issues confronting the council with your intellect and wisdom. Unlike me, as we've heard tonight, you have a calming demeanor and steady demeanor, which will continue to serve the council well. Councilman Kanaki, the sergeant of arms of the council. If any council member gets out of line, Councilman Kanaki is the first person to tell you you screwed up. Jimmy, I passed the dean of the board title to you, even though you only have 14 years on the council. Councilman Kanaki and I did not see eye to eye on every issue over the years, but after every heated debate, we always said we would go grab a beer together, and we're going to do that tonight at Amalfi's after the council meeting. I also want to recognize our newly elected council members, Olympia Perry and Patricia Farmer. Both women are proven leaders. Olympia as president of the Lawrence Township Democratic Club and Patricia as president of the Lawrence Township School Board. I know you both will do a fantastic job serving the residents on the council. One of the council traditions that I hope Olympia and Patricia continue is the breaking of bread immediately after the last council meeting of the year for a holiday toast to another year concluded. And this year, the council will be doing that at Amalfi's with just a few extra folks to join us. Finally, thank you all who are here tonight, including the regular meeting attendees. As I said, you make democracy work. and taking your time out of your busy schedule to celebrate my retirement with me tonight. It has been an honor and privilege to serve you. Thank you. Thank you.
I can whistle loud.
No whistling, no
Mr. Mayor, can I attempt to follow that up with my regards?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Of course.
Thank you. All right, so I will keep mine short and sweet. I do not have as illustrious a political career as Councilman Powers, and I think we're all also ready to go to a Maltese and have a drink, or go home and get to bed or get to dinner. I just want to say I'm a lifelong Lawrence resident, born and raised. This is my hometown. I went to college here. I went away for law school. I came back here because I care about this community. When Commissioner Lewis was elected to the Board of Commissioners, or County Commissioners, excuse me, these gentlemen up here trusted me, and the community trusted me to step up and to fill her position. I'm forever grateful, and I really appreciate it. I want to make it clear that I'm not stepping down because this is not something that I no longer care about or I'm not passionate about. It's quite the opposite, actually. I was very positively given more responsibility at work, and I felt I could no longer dedicate the time to this council that I think it deserves. And I respect this council and this town too much to do a half-butt job, I'll say it in the nice way. This Councilman Power says, takes a lot of time. It's a big responsibility. Folks have said it out there. I mean, we are here to do something. There's a purpose behind that. So please know that I'm going kicking and screaming, metaphorically. When I started on council, a few months ago, there was barely anybody in the audience. We had our regulars, but that was it. And as this year has progressed, this room has consistently been filled. We have had folks who have come up all the time, and they come and they talk to us, and it's been amazing to see. So please keep coming, keep talking, stay engaged. We love this community for a reason. We all live here for a reason. We care about it. Please keep that up. I know that and I will speak for Councilman Powers, so I think he spoke to this a little bit. We're leaving this council in fantastic hands with these two lovely women up here. I just want to say good luck to you in the coming years. Good luck to the rest of the council, and thank you all so much. I appreciate your trust. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on. Unfinished business, none. New business, none. Here we go. On 17, we're gonna do public participation, 3 minutes. If you don't mind, just sign your name, please, and then state your name for the record. Thank you so much.
Catherine Albright. I live in West Long Drive. I just want to say that I moved here 3 years ago. The Lawrenceville Township is really great. I never thought I would ever leave New York City, but you guys made a difference. I've been trying to move away, but my husband really loves the area. This is the first time I've gone to a council meeting, and I didn't know how many of my peers actually come to these meetings and actually want to talk about the business that they care about the town. And my only ask is, as the new year comes about, as more of us want to participate, it would be great for us to get a lesson in what does the council meeting do? How does it work? So that when we do participate, and we know what you guys are talking about. And I'm hoping that providing that communication will enable us to talk to you guys in a more respectful way, and the way for you guys to talk to us in the same way, so that we're all in the same baseline. So that's really it. Thank you.
Is there anyone else with public participation? Yes, ma'am. State your name, please. Thank you for the record.
Hello, council. Thank you very much for your service. I'm here,
Your name, please?
Noemi de la
Yeah.
Fuente. Noemi, like Doremi, Noemi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And remember not to say my address. I'm here on behalf of the volunteers of the Environmental and Green Advisory Committee and the Open Space Trails Stewardship Committee to just voice our support for the resolution that is coming up on your agenda. It's item 8.6. It's a resolution supporting the funding of open space. I just want to let you know that open space is very precious to us in Lawrence, as it is to everyone in New Jersey. We're willing to argue for it. We're willing to pay for it. We're willing to treasure it and maintain it. I also want to give you a little backstory on me. I grew up in Los Angeles. I am not lucky enough to be a lifelong resident of Lawrence Township. And where I grew up, there was very little open space. I got open space when I went camping, and that was it. And so this cause is very near and dear to my heart because I know what it's like to not have open space. And I don't think anyone in this room, on this council, wants a version of Lawrence Township that resembles where I grew up. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to a fellow Angelino, but also I just wanted to say, and I'll keep it brief, that I was proud to be a part of what the Environmental Green Advisory Committee, as well as Trails and Open Space Stewardship Committee did. They saw this and brought it up in their committee meeting. They voted on it to put together a resolution. They worked diligently together. I told them the timeline, they met it, actually exceeded it, and I was able to get it to the clerk. And this is one of the things where democracy at the group, really grassroots effort paid off. So I want to thank the work of the committee members for all that they did. Just publicly. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
You dropped your glasses. Something sounded like it fell.
Oh, pen. Thank you. More of those.
All right, you get 1 minute, sir.
Ho, ho, ho. Thank you. Happy holidays to everyone. Don't stand between dinner, or in this case, even drinks, and a council or anybody, a crowd, but here I am. I was debating pretty much of the meeting whether to come up or not. And my name is Jim Hooker. I live at Okay, hold on.
Don't touch
it. So I was debating, and the council was getting a lot of beat up pretty bad, as was the manager. I helped lead an effort to, similar to you guys, I have not been at many meetings. I've been at a few, and I was a reporter, so I kind of knew about meetings over the years. But we came here and we asked the council to buy a piece of property because, and so it's a good segue in terms of the open space. I too grew up in a place where, I grew up on Long Island. You'd say, well, there's, God's country. Well, not where I grew up, in the middle of it, where every single morning you get up for school and a new tract of woods was getting bulldozed. So I see a lot of that going on here. It's a shame. It was about to happen by Colonial Lake Park. I too get emotional. I came here, we got a lot of people, we got 5,000 signatures, we got 2,000 Facebook people. We filled these rooms and we asked the council to look to the future and future generations and please buy this piece of ground that they were going to put a hotel on at Colonial Lake Park. And these good folks and Manager Nowinski took the lead on the negotiations and put together a package of funding that included county, state, local, which we've all voted for, open space taxes to buy that ground, and it didn't happen. thanks to these guys. And I'm forever grateful. And I've told them, time and time again, whenever I see them, I'm forever grateful. I don't know how much longer I'll be there, maybe not very long, but, for a long time now, this is going to be saved for everybody. So, but I wanted to come up because it was sort of the end of the year, and I had not thanked the council for the boulevard plantings. It's number one here, Mike, and you brought it up. And one day I came home from work and I got on Route 1 and here are all these trees that all of a sudden, including in the circle there, a big beautiful tree that since died. But Councilman Bobbitt told me that they're going to replace it. On them, not on us. Also, the power plant, which we made some noise about, and there's some plantings around there. Hopefully, they'll cover it a little. Hopefully, they'll cover it because it was nice small town kind of feel, and it isn't anymore. But now there's plantings there. The affordable housing or any kind of housing right behind the Acme Shopping Center, we didn't think was a good idea. I still don't think it's a great idea. It's a shame that folks have to get shoehorned in such a place. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to take a half a moment just to say about the attorney, his recommendation, 11 more units. So this speaks to the townspeople having input. 11 more units of market units up by the Brearley House, another poor development kind of forced on us by Mount Laurel too. Okay, give us another 11 units, we'll build these others at the same time. Why don't you get out of them a few more units of affordables to take off the pressure from other open spaces that we have that are going under as a result. So maybe we can keep that in mind. Although Manager Lewinsky, what a great negotiation he did to get that property. So I feel like I'm talking to the experts, but let's think about that. Maybe you didn't think about it. Get something out of them. Don't just give it to them. Especially a pretty lousy development over there at the Brearley House. Lots of eloquence tonight. I'd also like to just say one thing about the fire. I think the folks here, I've been here for 2 or 3 meetings. They've been making great points. The point about having it, and it wasn't brought up tonight, but the good doctor mentioned it last time, geography, one place, a tornado comes through, we got nothing, right? Spread out is, I think, a better idea. Sylvia has talked about, Sylvia has talked about our close houses in South Lawrence where, we can reach to the neighbor out the window and ask for a cup of sugar and you'll get it, So if a fire happens, that could be problematic. So I thought that those points made were great. Councilman Farmer stopped at our Colonial Lake. We had a breakfast, winter breakfast the other night. The mayor was there, Councilman Bobbitt. You guys had been over there before. Thank you for that. So I basically just wanted to get up and say thank you on a number of those things. And the trail was completed through. However, now you can see the back of that parking lot and the bowling alley too much. So let's reforest. Let's look for grants, and I'll do it too. We'll go and try to find some grants to reforest back there. And so, because that's a great, what's the word I'm looking for? Treasure.
Asset, amenity.
Asset, treasure. So in any event, and then Mr. Grover over there, the kind of town that we have, I was in here, Mr. Grover, I didn't really know him because I grew up somewhere else, but my daughter grew up here. And he was in the town clerk's office a couple of years ago or so. And I was there, I forget, paying my dog license late as usual. And he asked me about Casey, how's Casey doing? Oh, and Jamie, her friends from high school, which was 20 years ago, and he still remembers all their names. And I'm sitting over back there, and the good doctor who was my physical doctor, he lives here in Lawrence, stopped over to say hello to you. I won't say his name because he's not here, and it's not, wouldn't be right. Dr. Lau. So I used to always say he did God's work. But I'll just let it go here because I'm standing in the way of the buffet table and drinks. It's a sort of a Rockwellian feel that we have here in this community with people who know each other no matter where you go, and everybody's trying for the best thing together. And I appreciate that, and I just wanted to thank you all. and thank you guys, and good luck going forward as well, because I was in your shoes. They did listen, and I hope the same for you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Just brief. Quick 30 seconds here.
All right, just state your name again, please.
Eric Parash. Now I'm going to address Catherine or Katie, whatever you prefer. It was very heartwarming what you just said, and I did the same thing. I came back specifically. I was in Chambersburg from 87 when I got married to 1998. I came back specifically to get my daughter into second grade at Ben Franklin. I started there 1966. I did K-12, she did 212, and then full circle, you know, September of 2016, then for her 2006 cheerleading squad to be inducted into the Lawrence Hall of Fame. And like I said, we go back to 1965. It's interesting how things come around full circle. And I was in competition between my ex now, who wanted to go back to where she grew up in Hamilton. So it was so heartwarming to do my research and see where the school stood and everything at the time. And I just want to thank everybody for everything. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and belated Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and whatever.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. Yes, ma'am. Just state your name, please, for the record.
He looks familiar too.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know which one. Sylvia Cobus. Mr. Roscos, I really would like to respond to your response to us, and I appreciate that you did that. I really don't understand why you would think that we had any personal attacks on you. That was never my intention. So I hope what you take away from tonight is we appreciate your work on that lawsuit. We really didn't think that it would ever happen. So we appreciate your work. The problem tonight is that the lawsuit has been settled. So there is no really going back on that. It's just the issues with the current resolution and the facts that are put in it for tonight, which I've been here multiple times disputing, and unfortunately they made it back on paper, and that's the issue for tonight. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. And then, of course, I want to thank Councilman Powers and Councilwoman McDuff. We're extremely sorry to see you both going. I know for you, Mr. Powers, that's a deserved retirement. But we were hoping to get more years from Councilwoman McDuff. So we're very sorry to see her go, because we believe that you are a very good addition to this council, and it's very sad to see you go, both of you, but wow.
I got those two over there.
Well, I know, we're very grateful for getting those two, absolutely, but it's still sad to see Ms. McDuff leave so early. So Happy New Year, enjoy your drinks, and I'm done, thank you, good night.
Thank you. Jerome. Yes, sir.
Jim Clean again, I forgot the whole thing, but in the meantime, what I was hearing from the attorney and the manager made me think maybe it's time for a strong mayor, because given the comments you made about you have to make decisions in the middle, you can't wait for every council meeting, and the controversy that seems to happen. I would like to, I'm I guess I'm naive because I take you at your word when you say that you're not gonna do things in closed session after this meeting or in any speedy thing, and and it's hard to, it seems to me it's kind of hard to, criticize getting something that gives, a grant that gives you, money to investigate alternatives for fire protection, and I take it at your word that it's gonna, it really is gonna, I'm naive, but I take it at your word that it's gonna be a drawn out, process, and that in the meantime, things will become available and so on. It does, I had, something was brought up by one of the gentlemen here a little while ago that I'm sure must be, you must have all considered too, but I hadn't thought about, was we talked about last meeting that we couldn't afford enough full-time people to man all the different auxiliary stations that we have now, and the only way we could, if we got it one consolidated one and maybe one down in Slackwood, we could then get fewer paid full-time people, and but then the point about how much it would cost if we ever went around to building a new one, aside from all the other issues. Now, I'm 85 years old, so I'm probably not gonna be around to see it, but just, I wonder if that is, isn't that also an issue? That you could perhaps hire a lot of part-time people, even for the individual stations, for less than it's gonna cost possibly to build a new one. Lastly, even though I don't agree a lot of times, and I couldn't understand last meeting why we had to go forward with the 3131 Princeton Pike without waiting for a new council, and I still don't, but I do think I applaud the idea of not moving ahead very much with the anything regarding any of these other issues until we have our new council meeting next week. But lastly, I've listened to the doctor, and I don't know you, and I know you've got a big following here, and I mean no disrespect, but you've gotten up here and lectured quite a bit in the last couple of meetings, and if I understood you right, you said that this council is just terrible, and compared to all the other council meetings. Maybe I misunderstood you, but I haven't attended our council meetings, but I've been attending this one for decades. And sometimes there was only 2 or 3 of us here lots of times. And I've never felt that they were terrible. And even whether I agree or disagree with Kevin on lots of things, I think, and I'm not a social media person, so I don't get that part of it. But I think I really appreciate his statements in the Gazette, every issue that seemed to go by and it gives me a lot of information. And that's all. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and
Happy New Year, sir.
And I'll see you next year.
Is there anyone else for public participation? 3 minutes. And at 85, do whatever you're doing, I want it. You look great at 85. So, seeing none, we're gonna close public participation on that. Can I get a motion for 18A, please?
Yeah, I just want to know who's going to do this next year, because I heard the cats on this stuff. So it's 18A1 through H10, with the exception of H5 and H9 in the block.
Second. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobbin?
Yes.
Mr. Mackey?
Yes.
Mrs. Duff?
Yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Mayor Lo.
Yes. Can I get a motion for H5, please?
Mayor, move H5.
Second.
The only, Madam Clerk, on the only thing that I asked on this is that we used to have closed session, we used to have the recording on it. And then I put a resolution and then majority had shot it down. Well, for the record, I would like to have recorded again for closed sessions.
And I will talk about that in closed session with you.
Very good. Thank you so much. Madam Clerk, can we get the vote, please?
Yes. Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes. Can I get a motion for H9, please?
Mayor, move at H9.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Abstain.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
No. We have council initiatives and liaison report. Is there anyone up here?
Well, for the liaison report, I think that there should be some things going on here.
Adam Clark, what did you do?
Got a little grin.
Holiday cheer.
Holiday cheer. Mayor, I would like you to present this to our 20-year veteran.
It's a pound for every year.
I think that, that we should really, the new dean should be presenting this with the years right now.
It'll be Jimmy.
Do you want to read this? Want to get on this? Can I take this out if you don't mind? Solid gold. Love it. Spare no expense. This is
Wow.
beautiful. This is the Township of Lawrence Township, and my Councilman Powers, presented to Michael S. Powers, Councilman, January 1st, 2004, December 31st, 2023. Mayor, January 1st, 2006, December 2006, January 1st, 10, December 31st, 10, and special recognition and appreciation for the 20 years of dedicated service to the residents of Lawrence Township from Lawrence Township Council. Great job. Can we get a picture, please, of Mike holding this?
Everybody went to a long.
They did.
They already went to
They're drinking.
Patricia.
Oh, sorry.
That's perfect.
Yes.
Steve.
This
I think the gray one, John's water bottle.
Oh, John's.
Oh, that
Of
big.
course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mayor.
Gotta hydrate.
Joanne, all right, Joanne. Thank you, guys.
Mayor, you have one more to present.
All right.
Katie.
And this goes.
Yeah.
And that goes to Mike.
Mike.
Mike, that is
Wow.
Linux for
Santa
you.
came early.
Yes.
Now, another gold plaque. This is great. Catherine Macduff, well, Katie, council member, January 1st, 2023, December 31st. We sincerely appreciate the dedication and service to the residents of Lawrence Township from Lawrence Township Council. And yes, Miss.
Do a picture, come on.
Pretend you're loving this.
Come on, Mrs. Berger, you know I love this.
Straighten out the back.
Oh, twisted?
Wow.
You give me
Wow.
Hey, she'll look back and say it was crooked.
But it isn't upside down.
We'd really like to thank Madam Clerk, who did a wonderful job on this. I mean, it was, when I went into the office, And she said, I'm already on it.
There is one more, and then we're done.
All right, there's a little bit of money left in the budget for a little more solid gold. So I have the honor tonight, and I appreciate Madam Clerk giving me the honor to do something, one last official duty as a councilwoman. So we're presenting this plaque to John Ryan, who is mayor January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2023. It's with our heartfelt appreciation for your dedicated service to the residents of Lawrence Township and your service as mayor. Thank you. Hold it straight.
It is gold. Oh, the water bottle.
It's everywhere.
You gotta hydrate. This face didn't get this pretty.
And this is the second one for you. That's just for your council.
Oh.
Just so you know.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, Ms. Tanya. So nice.
Slide that one in.
Thank you.
Yep. See if that gavel detaches. You can use it for the rest of the meeting.
Don't be chewing on that stuff. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate it. Written communications, 28, please. Yes. Fair Housing Center Communications from, do we have that here?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, it's in our binders.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in the back.
Yes, in your binder.
Right here.
Under 28.
Yeah, it's all the way in the back. It was that email.
My apologies, Councilman. Okay, motion for 28, please. It's in the back.
It's like an email.
No, it's just communication that the township attorney asked me to put in your folder for you to read.
Yeah, I think, Mr. Mayor, I think that was what Mr.
That's what he-
Roscoe was
that's what he
speaking
already
to
discussed
earlier.
during his report.
Very good. Thank you. All right, we're going to go into, we appreciate everyone. Happy New Year. We're going to go into executive session. See you next year. Hopefully we come to the
Motion to
reorg.
executive session?
Second.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Now Nancy's over there. I know, but you guys,
You split.
you were full of spunk.
Sorry?
You were full of spunk in the middle, so it's so great to see you.
It was very nice to see you.
Oh, my God.